Hello, kia ora, namaste, maloelele, talofa lava, bulavanaka, and welcome to the inaugural Heritage Hockey Tournament coming to you live from Colmar Sports Centre, Papatoetoe in Auckland. My name is Brad Pittman and I'll be here with you through all the action from the men's final, which is a repeat of yesterday's match between the New Zealand Indian men and the New Zealand Development men. I'm joined on the call today by Jude Menezes, the Black Six Women's assistant coach and Indian hockey Olympian. Jude, it's crunch time, and with everything to play for, these teams will need to deal with the added pressure of finals hockey.
Yeah, thanks, Brad. Yes, you're absolutely right. Finals hockey brings out a different dimension, so it's really important to see which team adapts to it better. And usually the team that adapts to the pressure of the final hockey comes out on the top.
Yeah, now, Jude, you'll take special interest in both of these sides. Obviously, your son, Brett, playing for the New Zealand Indian men's side, and you being Indian yourself, but also you part of the Hockey New Zealand development pathways and understanding what this means for that program. So, in both of your roles, you will take interest in the way both sides play today.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I've been involved with a couple of these boys in the Sultan of Johor Cup a few years ago. And I've coached the Auckland Indians and the Phuket Indians over the years, so I have a good, strong connection with the Indian community as well. But I'll be watching this one with interest, and may the best team win.
Absolutely, and as we see the teams go through and shake their hands, the match will be umpired by Max Beach and Bren Duckworth, and a reminder that this is the final of the New Zealand Heritage Hockey Tournament for 2021, the inaugural one, the first tournament we have held, and it will be contested between the New Zealand Development team in white playing against the New Zealand Indian men in the black. Now, as we have a look at the Indian side here today, again they will be missing Kelly and Jerem, but still a team loaded with experience as we see Xavier Guy and Nitesh Suka look to continue leading from the back. And it's actually Alex Dio who I want to pinpoint for today's game, who has been playing at the back alongside Suka, and it is his work that allows Nitesh to get out and play in that free man role and really do his job defensively. And Alex from the Collegians Hockey Club in Waikato. He has been playing very well for the Indian men's side, and look to continue that as we check out the Hockey New Zealand development side. Of note, again, is George Baker, who has been in rich goal scoring form for the development side. The other one to mention, of course, is their captain, Charles Ulrich, who has been influential through the midfield and as he rolls out in defence to shore up his team's attempts to slow down this Indian men's side. And for anyone that's been watching along all weekend through skysportnext and through the FIH app, you will know that this game is going to be fast. Both of these teams have played incredibly quick and know how to score goals. So I believe we're in for a cracker here, Jude. What are you expecting to see out of this Indian side?
It'll be quite interesting to see how they turn up today. And they played a lot in a half-court press, defended a lot yesterday. They will miss Callian Jerem's presence up front, because Callian not only is a really good goal scorer, but he actually can hold on to the ball, and then he was linking up really well with Shea Iswa. It'll be interesting to see how they shape up, and if Coach Yogesh Hari and Caden Hari have changed anything for today's game.
Yeah, and the game will start here with possession to the Indian men's side, and this is Alexander Dio, who I was speaking of earlier in the call, and the way he links in with Guy and with Suka. Just a nice little transfer out through Kieran Chiba there. Is turned over by the New Zealand development team. This New Zealand development team have grown over the tournament. You know, they upset the Indian men's side yesterday in a comprehensive victory, and the Indian men were playing, some of their younger players, but still put on a performance, the New Zealand development side, and they will be looking to kick off right where they ended that match yesterday, as we see them just content to play the ball around the back through Callum Olsen and Edian Harrington-Watt there, not wanting to force anything until a little pass there to Adam Banks and a challenge from Xavier Guy. This is Banks again, eyeing up Guy in the corner. And fantastically cleaned up there by Devon Hari. And he works out through Xavier Guy. They will earn the exit there fast start. Like I said, both of these teams have played quick all weekend, and this will be no different. It is the 4th game in 4 days, so there may be some effects of fatigue, but expect an incredibly high quality game of hockey, as that is Dio, and Suka will roll onto the ball, and as he has so often this tournament, just throw a nice little ball over to Shea Iswa that Jude Menez has mentioned a little earlier in the lead up. But it can only make it as far as halfway. But the New Zealand development team just turning the ball over, and it will be Nasai to come forward with the ball for the Indian side as they look to build their first attack. And that's Max Wyndham-Smith, who did play in that Sultan of Johor Cup in Malaysia in 2019 for the New Zealand under-21 side. This is Callum Olsen just throwing the over. Ball under control here, and he will either one-on-one with Nitesh Suka. Fantastic defensive work there by Suka to force the foul from Luca Burley. Not easy to do there, as he had one hand on his stick and it nearly got turned around. So fantastic awareness there by Suka, and it's every coach's dream. He was nice and low, had his hand on the ground there, and in a strong position.
Yeah, you're right, Brad. Nitesh Suka has had a fantastic tournament and is really instrumental in holding this defense together. So they will have to rely a lot on his presence at the back, along with Alex, as you mentioned earlier, and play on counterattacks. It looks like they're shaping to play that way again as well.
Yeah, that's it. They've got a lot of speed going forward, and when you've got somebody with the ability of Xavier Guy in the midfield and his ability to assess the situation going forward, I think they will just want to pick those counter-attack opportunities and really get this New Zealand development team running on defence. So they just earn their free hit and get an eyes-up play here. They open up through your son there, Brett. He's in the midfield for the New Zealand Indian side. And that's rolled out through Chiba. Just unable to be brought in there by Keenan Bicker, who has started up the front again for the Indian men's side. And Jude, you will have seen some of these development players play through and with Brett in his tenure at Kings. You will have seen some of these guys play with each other, so now they get the opportunity to play against each other in this game. Yeah,
Moss Jackson and Max Wyndham-Smith were part of that Sultan of Johor team in 2018, 2019. And it's really good to see, especially Max Wyndham-Smith. He's really developed into a good leader in this tournament. And scored a couple of really good goals. Moss Jackson's really one of the better strikers in this age group, because he's quite strong in the ball, quite unpredictable. So you got quite a few good boys around here. George Baker scored a couple of good goals. He got Isaac Holbrook. So that's a really quality team in this New Zealand development.
Yeah, and it's really promising to see as the Vantage Black Sticks currently looking to build towards an Olympic campaign, and these guys probably not in contention for that, but maybe in the coming iterations of the Olympics, as we do see David Bates just attempt to put a bit of pressure on Alex Dio, but he's up to the challenge. These are potentially some of our next Olympians, and exciting that they get what is fairly close to some somewhat international experience, playing against other cultures here at this age.
Yeah, absolutely right. I have also been impressed with Charles Ulrich playing for the New Zealand development. He's really stood up in this tournament.
Yeah, he does throw a big ball there, probably gets it in the wind a little. Charles, of course, has an NHL campaign under his belt for North Harbour, and also played in the Premier League for the Northern Tridents last year. So, really leaning on that experience, he's developed into a fantastic young player there, and at such a young age is really standing up and as a leader in this side. So look to see him, that is him, number 18, going to truck down and get the ball at the moment for his team. But look at what I'm especially impressed with is his physicality. He's a strong guy, considering he's not the biggest on the park. and it's probably down to that experience of playing against our top men's players that he's developed that ability.
Yeah, that's right. He's a pretty handy drag flicker as well, so he can score a goal.
Yes, we see the Indian men try and break out quick here. And that is Ishan Patel, who has come on the field up the front for the Indian side. He's got a bit of pace, and Xavier Guy just looks across the field at Alex Dio. Happy to roll back into Nitesh and reposition himself at the back for the Indian side. We can already see the work that Moss Jackson does off the ball. He really gets up in that press and tries to disrupt as much as he can. He is a long body, so he gets around pretty quickly when he does go. So look to see that as a feature of Moss's game, as the Indian men just attempt to go at the circle, but it is Ulrich that we talked about who just tidies up. And happy just to roll off the ball and get himself set in the midfield alongside David Bates, as pivot options there for the New Zealand development team. This is Tim Sheed on the ball out at the right sideline. They managed to keep possession and back into the midfield. They will stay on this right-hand side of the field. That's Iswar just unable to get the first tackle, but they will win possession back. And it will be Kieran Chiba on the sideline. He's got George Baker in front of him. George plays his hockey out of Canterbury, along with Moss Jackson. They will have played some rep hockey together, as Nitesh just finds Devon Hari out on the sideline. Fantastic tackle there by Brett Menezes as he gets in behind Charles Ulrich and opens up the right-hand side of the field. Unfortunately, play broken down there by Callum Olsen for the New Zealand development team. And between he and David Bates do enough just to find their outlet through George Baker as he comes down the middle of the field, opting to go back to David Bates. And this ball speed is impressive here. Until just a little miscommunication there, unable to find Josh Irwin going forward in the corner. Will let the Indian men's team off here. Jude, it's been fast already. And we expected this from the New Zealand development side. We could see some effects of fatigue in this Indian team as the game wears on, so they'll be looking to keep possession as much as possible. What do you like what you've seen so far out of the composure on the midfield from the Indian team, and the likes of Xavier Guy and your son Brett in there, as well as Shea as well when he drops back in?
Yeah, Xavier Guy is a very, very high quality hockey player. He's really controlling the outlet from the middle of the park and controlling the tempo of the game, because, as you mentioned, it's 4 games in 4 days. It's not easy on the body, so they're playing very calculated hockey at the moment, the Indians, and supported by Brett and Shays, in particular when he drops into that centre striker role through the midfield and picks up and becomes the extra midfielder, adds a lot of support to Xavier Guy to build play.
Scrape a little bit of ball speed there, finds Callum Olsen on the overlap, but as he has done many times this tournament, Nitesh Sukkar just cleaning up off the little half trap there, and it was the physicality of Charles, just a little bit too much for the liking of Max Beach. She gets the hand off the stick and onto the body to help his way through. As we are about halfway through the first quarter here, Alex Dio is going to have to do some work to keep the ball in, but it falls there for Josh Irwin, who unable to link up with his players on the other side of the field, and the Indian men will just reset and take a breath.
Yeah, I think Josh was looking for a shallow transfer through Tim Sheed in the middle of the park, but just didn't come off.
And this is Sukkar on the ball. He's got Max Wyndham-Smith in front of him. And now as the Indian men just look to outlet the ball here, they've got Dio and Sukkar. And we've got Xavier Guy coming forward with the ball. Just playing some eyes up hockey, and he sees a fantastic ball. And that's a ripper of a goal against the run of play a little bit. and none other as we see the Keep Alive replay here. Nitesh Sukkar just finds his entry pass in there to Xavier Guy, who gets his way through Tim Sheed, and on the free hit, a fantastic eyes up play here to none other than Hitesh Dyer, who, as I mentioned yesterday, just arrived for the side, and he's a very experienced player for this New Zealand Indian men's side, and certainly knows how to find the back of the goal, and that is a ripper. This could really turn the first quarter for the Indian men's side, who have been under a little bit of pressure so far in this quarter. But I am joined in the commentary box by one of the superstars we've seen all weekend. How was your game? How are you feeling?
Look, I'm pretty tired. I think all of us towards the end ran out of legs, including myself. But we improved throughout the tournament, which was great. Results didn't go our way, but it's just how it goes. Proud of the girls. They did awesome. Absolutely.
And for those of you wondering, I am speaking with Manisha Jerram, of course, the New Zealand Indian women's captain, who has just finished her game, and it was a tough one out there against the New Zealand Pacifica women. And for all that you do for that side, you didn't stop, and a pretty tough last game out there. So, for you to be playing at home, I guess, at Southern Districts, it's awesome to be able to put on that performance for the Indian community.
Yeah, no, look, it's awesome to be on my home turf. I mean, my family's here, heaps of friends came out, so it was good. It was an awesome tournament to play in, heaps of fun. It was a good challenge for us to play some harder hockey. So we all had fun, and we'd love to come back again next year.
Awesome. As we just taken this first quarter action between the New Zealand Indian men and the New Zealand Development men. Obviously your brother Callian would love to be out there helping his side, and he unfortunately sustained an injury on day 2 after starting in rich goal scoring form. How awesome is it to be able to both captain your respective national Indian sides, for you and for Callian?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, we probably both weren't expecting it. But no, it's good, especially with our dad here as well. He'll be super proud of us, which is awesome. You don't get these opportunities very often, so it's awesome to lead the bunch of girls, and hopefully for the young ones, just help pave the way a little bit, just get them into that harder hockey that we may not get all the time back home.
Yeah, it's awesome, and you speak of the young girls, and it was a young team, and I was speaking with Suresh during your game, and what I was really impressed with is just their willingness to continue showing up and keep putting pressure on some of these international experienced girls, and the likes of Lulu Tuilatalava, who you just played against, and your young girls, though maybe inexperienced, still in there playing hockey, and really led by some of your more experienced players like Charmaine Aletham and Alicia and Sharina Nana. So awesome to see the development of your young players in the national program.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. The young girls did really well. It's a big step up for them, so it's a big ask. But no, they did well throughout the whole thing. They never gave up. That's what we wanted to see. So no, it was good. Yeah,
and we've loved having you and your team at the tournament. I think it's been a really successful weekend of hockey, and a really good showcase of our sport in the country. So we absolutely hope to see you back next year, and I'm sure you will continue representing your Indian community and your team well. So we thank you, Manisha, and we thank the Indian women's team for a great weekend.
Cool, cheers.
All right, and as we roll into the last couple of minutes here of this first quarter between the New Zealand Indian men and the New Zealand Development men, Jude, as you did step away, we saw a phenomenal goal there, taken by, with no surprise, Hitesh Dyer, a very experienced and phenomenal goal scorer for the Pukekohe Indians Club.
Yeah, Hitesh can really score a goal, and it's a great inclusion there for the New Zealand Indians. And I think, not many of these development boys would know the quality of a striker that Hitesh is. So I don't think you can leave him unmarked in the circle.
Yeah, he looks quite unassuming. I've played a little bit against Hits in the Midlands Intercity comp, and you see him roll around there, and he looks a little casual, and you probably think you have him burnt for speed. And he's an incredible goal scorer and knows where and how to finish goals. He didn't probably get as many opportunities as he may have liked yesterday, with the team just unable to really get there. And this is Xavier Guy, who did set that goal up, and we're getting a little bit of back and forth, but Yeah, I think if those development boys didn't know beforehand, Simon Brew will probably be reminding them right now who exactly Hitesh Dyer is, and he has made them pay for for leaving him that open in the circle. We see a little misfire there from Nitesh Sukha, just pounced on, and this is George Baker, who has been very dangerous. It's a great ball forward by the development side. Not quite the shot he would have been after, unfortunately, there. And it was good pressure by Nitesh Sukha on the original entry from George Baker. Fantastic ball forward that was picked up by Baker, but it will end the quarter here. Perhaps a little against the run of play, that first goal, but the New Zealand Indian men, like we talked about, happy to play that fast counter-attacking hockey, and it was Xavier Guy with an eyes-up play to see Hitesh open up in the circle and just deliver a peach of a pass that was put away and will earn them a 1-0 lead. Now, the development team have had their opportunities, but it is the Indian men who have taken the most of their one. What have you been most impressed with by the Indian side as we check out the replays here?
Yeah, I think they've held on to their structure quite well, Brad, which and they played to their strengths, which has been counter-attack hockey, which has been a feature throughout the tournament. So they've been patient in the build-up, and as you mentioned, Xavier delivering that killer pass to find Hitesh. They've had one shot at goal and scored one, so it's pretty good stats.
Yes, we just see vision here of the Keeper Life replays. This is the free hit here. And Xavier Guy just having a look. He sees Hitesh just fades out and then comes back towards the goal, and on the forestick, that's a fantastic finish there. Nothing at all a goalkeeper can do to save that one, and it's a fantastic finish that does put the Indian men up 1-0. And both teams with chances. This is the ball forward to Baker that we did just see. You see the pressure there of Sukha just deflecting the ball, and again some more pressure to avoid a good quality shot there, and they will do enough to keep the lead to 1-0. Neither team really gaining in ascendancy, but I think you're right, Jude. The Indian men playing exactly how they would like to. Happy to just slide in defence, clean up where they need to, get numbers around the ball, but when they go forward, they're going to go forward with numbers, and if they've got guys that are running in behind the development team defence, they've got targets, and that is guys like Hitesh and like Shayaswar who can score goals up there. So, look to see if the development team make any little changes in terms of counter cover. If they just reshape a little more into the middle of the field to help with, that danger of the Indian men's side. But this game still has plenty of life left in it, and we've got 3 quarters of hockey. The Indian men will start with possession in the second quarter with Nitesh Sukha. This is the grand final of the inaugural New Zealand Heritage Hockey Tournament between the New Zealand Indian men and the New Zealand Development men. This is Moss Jackson, who has been good. He links up with Luca Burley, who eyes up Alex Dio, who does enough to break down play, but the development team will keep possession only as far as Shayaswar, and it is one we mentioned who does have some attacking skill. And he just allows his team to get numbers ahead of the ball. And that will be Manraj Gill, who has come onto the field now at left half. Got a little overlap on the right half there. Just a ball into Nasai is well controlled. And a good ball tackle there by Moss Jackson as he gets up and running. It's a fantastic touch tackle there by Brett Menezes as Moss Jackson was trying to survey the circle. Making the reach tackle on a much longer man. Brett does fantastically well there to avoid all of the stick in the body. So saved his team a little bit of a scare there, and the Indian team will come forward with the ball.
Yeah, you can already see a shift in the New Zealand development at the moment, Brad. They're actually pressing aggressively. They're actually trying to force the turnovers pretty early. In the first quarter, they gave the fullbacks way too much time to outlet. They're pressuring the ball a little bit more aggressively in this quarter.
Yeah, I think one thing we've seen, certainly with Nitesh Sukha over the weekend, if you do give him time, he's a fantastic distributor of the ball, both on the deck and as an aerial option. And just look to hope the development team will force him to play a little more laterally with that press there, and I think that will take away some of the counter-attack exponent of the the Indian men's side. It's an obvious ploy there by Simon Brill, as David Bates does come forward with the ball, and he links up with Moss Jackson, who has Luca Burley in front of him, as well as Max Wyndham-Smith, if he can get it there. Fantastic finish by a quality player. You can see just the patience to probably not swing at the first one, which he would have been tempted to. You know, as we see the replay here, they've worked it fantastically well through David Bates, who did make the infield break. A bit of a coach killer who goes infield again, and it's a nice touch pass to Luca Burley. And just this little skipping ball able to get through. And this here, great patience shown by Max Wyndham-Smith, and a fantastic finish to level the scores up. And it's exactly what Coach Simon Brill would have wanted. You know, they wouldn't have wanted to sit behind on the scoreboard for too long. Being a young side, you do get susceptible to scoreboard pressure if you do have periods, and they do come forward again through Max Wyndham-Smith. They will earn a long corner, but it is a great answer back, and early in the quarter here by the development men.
Yeah, absolutely. You can sense the intensity of the game has been upped a bit by Brilly, and the boys have responded straight away. Max Wyndham-Smith with a very composed finish, real quality.
He's been impressive over the weekend, Max. Originally from Hamilton, and has spent a bit of time playing some club hockey up in Auckland. But I think his experiences in the New Zealand system have just really matured his style of play. You know, he grew up and was just a gun, a million miles an hour, swing at anything and just want to go forward. So you can see there a little bit more maturity in his shot selection, and it's great to see Max out here, one of the older guys in this side, taking up a leadership role, is very active up the front, as he will be targeted here. Commentator's curse, unfortunately I've talked him up and he may have heard it. Does just lose possession over the back line, but look for the likes of Max to really spark this New Zealand development side and his experience going forward.
Yeah, you're right, Brad. He has led really well. A lot of times he floats into the midfield as well, and he's leading his team really well without being overly loud. He's a good strong leader, almost lead by example type of leader, which I've been very impressed.
As we see the development men only able to get as far as Milan Patel, and it will be Hamish Sukkar here on the ball. Just wearing a bit of a physical contest there from Moss Jackson. Hamish Sukkar, the brother of Jaina Sukkar, who played in the last game. Not brother to Nitesh Sukkar though. Share the last name, but aren't related there. So this is Hamish just putting a bit of pressure on. He was eyeing up George Baker here, just leading in the opposite direction to the ball carrier, which, as you saw on the screen there, and for young strikers at home, a great skill to be able to lead back against the direction of play. And George Baker, unfortunately, unable to receive the ball through there, but just a heads-up play from a quality striker in Baker. As again, Brent Menezes just shows off his defensive ability there on Callum Olsen. I don't know, Jude, but he likes to match up against the bigger man. He takes him again.
Yeah, I'm happy he's not backing away, so that's a good thing.
He's done fantastically well there through a couple of possessions, wanting a bit of a rest for his efforts, and not going to shy away from the bigger player at all. He's working well in the midfield, as we do see again. Hitesh, unfortunately, too fast for his boots there. Hits. You'll be disappointed because it was a great little pick-up of possession. And this is Tim Sheed coming forward with the ball here. He does find Moss Jackson, who's looking for George Baker, but that is good physical, strong defense there by Xavier Guy. Stick out in one hand, left hand, and just in and riding the carry there of Moss Jackson. It is Xavier Guy on the ball. It's a great ball over the top to Devon Hari. And they have found the foot in there of Callum Olsen. Now we speak of drag flickers, and we spoke of Charles earlier, as we see the Keep Alive replay here. there is certainly some drag flick exponent in this New Zealand Indian men's side, and we speak of Nitesh and his ability at the back, but also a very good drag flicker of the ball, and so is Xavier Guy, who has drag flicked at an international level. So this New Zealand development side are going to have to be on high alert for both options here.
Yeah, absolutely. They've taken off Brett, who's usually trapping for them, so that could be interesting to see which bracket the ball actually goes to now. But you're right, both Nitish and Xavier can provide a lethal drag flick.
It looks like we'll have Patel and Narsai up there to trap. Yeah, unfortunately, as you alluded to there, Jude, probably just not the clean trap they would have liked, and it sounds like number one trapper Brett off the field at the moment, which is disappointing. Xavier just unable to pick it up cleanly there and create any real damage with the corner.
Yeah, also it looked like he was going back to the injector to Shea Iswa. I reckon he should just try.
Oh, we see Max Wyndham-Smith here.
Big tackle.
That is phenomenal defensive work. Phenomenal defensive work there by Kieran Sheba. Now that takes a lot of guts to get in on a shot there like that. More defensive effort from Xavier Guy. That certainly there could be a game changer. That tackle by Kieran Sheba. Not easy to dive, stay in contention without fouling, and really get in and deflect the ball away from goal. But again, as we mentioned earlier, Max Wyndham-Smith looking very good coming forward for this New Zealand development team.
Yeah, game certainly has opened up in this quarter, Brad. Looks like the NZ development are here to play now.
Yeah, it only means one thing, Jude, and it means we're going to have over 40 minutes here of exciting, entertaining, fast-paced hockey, and it's exactly what we expected out of these two teams. And for the crowd that have already shown up here at Colmar and Papatoetoe, you're going to be in for a treat. And those of you joining us on Sky Sport Next, as well as the FIH app anywhere in the world, we are still midway through just the second quarter of hockey, and it has already turned up as Narsai does come forward with the ball, along with Jaden Dyer. New Zealand development just happy to channel down that defensive left-hand side for them. And they will win the free hit. Your development defenders there just happy to channel, and smartly so, because an infield break at a position like that on the field can be costly. So, well disciplined there, and they will. The Indian men will attempt to come forwards through Narsai. And that is a good, solid clean-up tackle down the back there for the development team. So we see Callum Olsen get on over the ball. He's got Charles Ulrich just rolled into the midfield there for the development team. That's Eddie and Harrington Watt just eyeing up David Bates. Just unable to control the ball there. And there was Hitesh Dyer just trying to touch pass to link up there with Jaden Dyer. And David Bates will come away with the ball through Adam Banks. And Adam Banks has a look forward. He finds David Bates again. Fantastic work there by Alex Dio, and he will ride out a free hit for his trouble. You hear the communication of Xavier Guy on his way back in defence, really organising the guys as he attempts to get back in to help. Unfortunate there, Xavier, after doing all of that running and all that good work, does turn the ball back over.
Xavier is one of the finest young talents in the country. Just a very, very mature and aware-minded player. So even though he's so young, his maturity as a hockey player is way beyond his years.
Yeah, this is Charles Ulrich coming forward with the ball. Fantastic bit of skill there. He's got Xavier Guy on his back. But he's also got Nitesh Sukha in front of him, and that is a great low block tackle by Nitesh Sukha. Stick in one hand, which is never easy to do. And unfortunately for the development men, as they look to overlap there, unable to find the sticking pass. But again, between Nitesh and Xavier have been equal to the challenge of the development men so far. And this is Sukha here with Max Wyndham-Smith in front of him. Links up with Narsai, who does find Devon Hari. That's Jaden Dyer just with the ball Links back up with Nasai, who has come from the original pass. And development men win possession on halfway. They don't have as many numbers in motion going forward, but here is, again, we speak of the defensive work that he's done so far, and Brett Menezes make a great tackle. We'll be asked again to do so on Charles Ulrich, and very nearly does just that. He will ask umpire Max Beach how his day's going. Just checking he's all right. As the development team do swing the ball around through Luca Burley. The development team will win the free hit through David Bates. They roll the ball back to Callum Olsen. Charles Ulrich defending the ball there. Keenan Bicker, who comes forward. And unfortunately does concede the free hit. And this is Adam Banks in the middle of the field for the New Zealand development side. Harrington Watt.
Have been quite impressed with Adam Banks in the middle. They're very workmanlike for the New Zealand development. Bit of an unsung hero there.
Yeah, I think he does a really good job of receiving the ball in a little bit of congestion and making the right decision. Often guys at this age, when they do receive the ball on that slight go-forward pass, just want to turn and burn and eyes up to the goal. And I think you're right, Adam Banks has done a really tireless job in there of just keeping possession, rolling it back out to Olsen at the back, and you see him, he has rolled out to the back himself there, Adam Banks on the ball, just opening up this overhand overload left, but they opt to go right. It's a fantastic change of shape there by the New Zealand development team. They've rolled Callum Olsen forward, Adam Banks has gone out to the back, and Harrington Watts found himself back there. Unfortunately for Banks, as Iswai does pick up his pass, and talked you just to, Xavier Guy picked the ball up there and didn't have numbers ahead, but just carried the ball on an angle to allow his players time to get ahead. You talk about how important things like that are in the experience of Xavier Guy.
Yeah, we keep talking about tracking on angles, and all good players, and Xavier actually did that, especially because he had nothing up front, and he couldn't burn through 3 or 4 players, so he had to track on an angle to allow his strikers and midfielders to come up and support.
Yeah, and it's paid off here as they do get the entry and they do win the penalty corner off the entry of Shea Iswai. Just bounces around and hits the body there of David Bates. So we spoke of the drag flick exponent in Suka and in Guy. They do have Menezes back on now to trap, and it will be Iswai to pull the ball out. Both teams locked at 1-1 with under 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. So a strike here from either team will be crucial going into the half. It's certainly not the one they drew up, Jude, but it works. It is tidied up there in a nice little 1-2, which is finished on the from the injector Shea Iswai. As we see the replay here, the ball will come out to 1, not again trapped as cleanly as I know Brett will have liked. But between Suka, who does change to bracket 1, and Guy there, who sets forward, they do work a little 1-2 back to Suka, and it is Iswai who does manage to get the ball up over Taylor Craigie in goal for the New Zealand development men. And as I said, it's such a crucial blow just 2 minutes before the end of the second quarter.
Yeah, sometimes the unstructured play is pretty hard to defend. Just good reactions from Shea Iswai to react first to that ball and tip it over the keeper.
Yeah, it's hard when you're running a defensive penalty corner and you know they have 2 genuine flickers, so you're just trying to get out there as quick as possible. And when it breaks down, it's often hard to turn around and make amends for what may be happening behind you.
Yeah, it's always important to react quickly once the breakdown happens, and I just think New Zealand development just didn't react quickly enough. And Shea was a very smart hockey player, so he jumped in there and tapped in that ball.
As we see Tim Sheed getting a lot of attention there from a couple of New Zealand Indian men's players as they just look to go over to George Baker. It's a way to finish a quarter. Unfortunately, not a goal, but it's a great little option there as George Baker just found enough depth in the circle. We talk about Jude as coaches, strikers giving us that height and really being up on the baseline and opening up the whole circle. And I've talked in great lengths with a lot of people through the commentary this weekend about the teams that are successful in their ability to use the baseline. So, that our young strikers are getting up there and using that, it's a great look.
Yeah, absolutely, and well coached by most of the coaches here. Actually, I've been pretty impressed with most of the strikers doing that consistently. So that speaks very highly of the coaching of all these teams. But yes, it's very important. We talk about strikers being in 50-meter increment from the ball, basically. So if the ball's on halfway, the striker stretches all the way to the baseline, and that pushes the defense behind as well and creates space for the midfield, provides the width as well.
Yeah, and this on the replay, we did just see, that 50-metre spacing there as Callum Olsen threw the ball over and found his striker going forward. Unfortunately, couldn't make much of it. But it is, especially in the way the game is speeding up, and it is becoming dynamic, and we are having guys that can throw big bombs and distance ball. Having guys in behind the defensive units, A, it gives a target to go forward if they're going to play long, but B, it opens up the midfield, and for this New Zealand Indian side, allows guys like Xavier Guida to look for his option going forward. So, twofold, we talk about our strikers providing us height, and sometimes it's a tireless job. You get up there and you do all the running, but sometimes, like George Baker here in this replay, you are able to gain possession, but it gives a really good target for your midfielders coming forward with the ball.
Yeah, it also creates space for the post-up ball to be received as well. So once you're leading behind the strikers, behind the defenders, it's harder for the defenders to look over their shoulder, so they're rubbernecking all the time, and that creates the opportunity for the space in front as well. So you're offering a lot more.
Yeah, and this is the finish there from Max Wyndham-Smith, who found himself in front of the goal of the Indian men's side. Now, as we continue watching the replay, I'm joined in the commentary box by none other than hockey hero Brett Lever, who has coached the New Zealand Pacifica men's side over the weekend and has been instrumental between he and Kevin Fraser in not only setting up Pacifica Hockey Association, but this tournament as a whole, the Heritage Hockey Tournament. And you'll be pleased with how the tournament's gone so far?
Extremely pleased. It's good to see so many people who wouldn't literally come out and watch hockey. They are here. I think we have it right in regards to the demographic side of things, and the level of hockey has been extremely good, but extremely happy with it, and hopefully move forward next year.
Yeah, and it's I think been especially telling to see that you managed to get a Pacifica men's side together, and just how well they've played this weekend. And they had a good win again this morning against the New Zealand Māori team, and a team that does have a lot of players that know each other and have played against and together for a long, long time. So fantastic to get a group of guys able to represent their Pacifica culture here in hockey in New Zealand.
Yeah, it is, and it isn't easy, purely in the numbers aspects, trying to find who is of Pacific origin, but we're extremely proud with the product we put out, the players that are available, and it gives them something to strive for. Not only do we have Fijians, Samoans, Tongans, we had a Solomon Islander and a Cook Islander, and it's just great to put a product out there, and it gives them something to strive for, a very, very strong heritage background, and just super, super proud in how they've performed, both the guys and the girls.
Yeah, absolutely. And I spoke to Jan Peterson, your men's captain, a little earlier, and he said at his age he's just so proud to be able to open up, a pathway for young Pacific Island players to strive to play at this level. And we see some guys in your side that are pushing for national honours, and the likes of Jacob Suchun and Aidan and Xander Fraser, who all played fantastically well out here this weekend, and they can be real role models for the younger Pacifica community, as we want to see more of them strive to represent our country.
Exactly, and you've knocked it on the head in regards to that. They are the future of hockey, and it's us going out there and trying to find out, get these 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old guys and girls, get into these schools, show them that there is something that they can strive for, like playing for higher honours, not only at this tournament and representing your heritage, but getting into that New Zealand level. That's the one thing that Kevin, myself, and a couple of other guys are looking at in regards to just giving them that one shot that they need and show them that there is something in hockey
Yeah, and you yourself are very proud Fijian, and spent a long time representing New Zealand. I'm sure would have loved to have this sort of opportunity to play with a group of Pacifica guys. Had that opportunity been there those years ago.
Definitely. There's something about Pacific Islanders in sports in general and how relaxed they are, but when they do get on the field, it's all full concentration. It's something that we need to keep looking at, and New Zealand Hockey have talked to us in regards to where to next and how do we go about just keeping these kids and trying to attract them into a sport where they generally don't play.
Yeah, and I think you're exactly right there. Now, we see in the warm-ups and after the games how cruisy and fun and the Pacifica team environment is, but then on the field, probably the most structured team in the tournament, and it's probably a testament to the style of hockey you like to play as a defender yourself, but also guys like Stu Pitu and Jan Pedersen who expect high standards of their players to, you can be all fun and games and it is Pacific Island time before and after, but they still put on a fantastic hockey product.
Exactly, and that's what it was all about. We were here just to have a go. We were simply not just going to play back in rounds. We were here I prefer for us to lose 6-5 than win 1-0. So we have a flair about us and how we do things, and why not put it on show, which is what this whole Heritage Hockey Tournament is about.
And as you just join me in watching the development boys here have a penalty corner, well executed there by Charles Ulrich, a little behind the back play from Kellen Olsen, and it does equal the game up here. You coached against these development boys on their path to the final. What have you been most impressed with by some of these young leaders out here?
Just the standard that they're setting for themselves, not only as a team but as individuals, and they take great pride in their skill sets. They're extremely well coached. They are, very, very fit, and the chances they have created will put the Indians under pressure. But it's a great game so far, and just hopefully it just keeps going along that way.
Awesome. Well, I'll let you go. I know there's a bowl of kava out there somewhere that's
Exactly.
probably got your name on it, but I thank you again for not only the work you've done with the Pacifica team and the Pacifica Association, but putting this tournament together and the role model you are in the Pacifica community. So thank you, Brett.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you very much.
All right, as we're back into some action there, we did see a goal to the New Zealand development men. Well-worked penalty corner, just a little behind the back play from Callum Olsen, picks up Charles Ulrich, who does flick nice and high and over the goalkeeper's head, and it's enough to level them up here as Xavier Guy looks to put a little bit of pressure on, and they're just unable to get his teammates to go with him. Jude, we've spoken about the drag flicking exploits of both teams, and that's a cracking finish from Charles Ulrich there.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a really good drag flick. Not much that Dylan Patel and goal could do. They really ripped that one.
Yep, but as we expected, the game has opened up. There's opportunities going both ways, and we are a long, long way from done here as we do have just under 15 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Still almost a half of hockey left to play here in the men's final of the inaugural New Zealand Heritage Hockey Tournament. The Indian men will come forward through Ishan Patel, showing off maybe a couple of his dance moves there with the ball. And that is Nasai looking to eye up the edge of the circle. Yeah, unfortunately just a lifted ball there by Kenan Bicker. He's maybe saying it may have hit the foot, but unfortunately that foot was a couple of feet in the air. But maybe just looking a little bit too direct there. I'm not sure if they'd earned the right to have that circle entry, and we speak about earning the right to opportunities and play hockey, and it's something that this Indian men's side have done well. They soak up pressure, and then when it is their chance to go, they really go forward with some flair, and we did see Xavier Guy try and put a little bit of a push-out press on the development team. Unfortunately, his teammates just didn't go with him. But we see some fantastic skill again here by Ishan Patel. Just cleaned up there. And we've got Hitesh Dyer back on the field for the Indian men. Yeah, Charles Ulrich has him. There again we see the crafty play of none other than Hitesh Dyer, not a lot of angle at all to work with, but does get the ball deflected goalward. As we see the keeper life replay here, between Ishan Patel and Nasai here, they do manage to get a little bit of go forward. It will be Nasai that gets the entry down on the baseline. And probably rightly so, as we see the replay there, Hitesh Dyer was on the ground when the ball came up and struck him near the back of the head, so judged to not be dangerous when you are that low and putting your body on the ground in front of the goalkeeper. Unfortunately for the Indian men, not able to get that go-ahead goal straight after the development team scored, but we are locked in here at 2-2. Just over 10 minutes left in the third quarter. Xavier Guy on the ball, who has been good for the team so far.
The Indians have, once they've got Hitesh up front, they've actually dropped Shea Iswa to the midfield. So I think it's good having that combination of a potential threat up front all the time. And as we saw a minute ago, Hitesh arrives into space like all good strikers. He doesn't stay there. He just waits, and his timing is really good when he jumps into space.
Yeah, and I think it's a feature of the Indian game is players' ability to play multiple positions and just go where play requires them to go. And if you find yourself up the front, you just fill a gap, and every person does their job. As ball creeps across the goal of Dilan Patel there, and the Indian men breathe a sigh of relief as both George Baker and I think Oscar Nation up there, although it was Josh Irwin, unable just to get that touch to get the ball going goalward. As I was saying, a feature of Indian hockey and the ability to adapt, play free flowing, just fill positions and go forward. Does see Shea Iswa roll into the midfield. There's an interesting little pass there off the overhead.
Yeah, a bit of his cricketing skills, I think. Good hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, as we see Tim Sheed come forward with the ball here, but only as far as Xavier Guy, and it will be Iswa to come forward and take on Ulrich. That's Guy just unable to link up with Hitesh Dyer. Found himself in a bit of space, but a tough reverse receive going into the corner there. So the development team will come away with the ball. It is Callum Olsen. The Indian men's side have pushed out of that half-court press we saw yesterday into a bit of a three-quarter start. It will allow a little bit more space in the midfield here, so they are going to have to be tight if it does breach through their front layer, where they find themselves with David Bates going forward with the ball. Into the circle, it's gone through the legs and not on the legs. And Nitesh Sukha will do enough under the attention of George Baker to win the free hit.
Another person who's really impressed me in the New Zealand development team is Isaac Holbrook, who plays in the middle of the field there. Very calm and composed on the ball, good reader of the game.
Yeah, Isaac Holbrook has been solid all weekend. It's good to see him out there, though. He's gone for a rest, as we mentioned him. But this is George Baker showing a fantastic bit of 3D skill there to win the free hit. As we see on the Keeper Life replay here. Just this ball forward to George. Now, I've been impressed with George all weekend as he just gets around Nasai here on the baseline. He will get the little 1-2 back from David Bates on the baseline. And on this little 3D lift, catches, I think, both of Nitesh Sukha's feet there. So we'll get the penalty corner. Now, they did score from this set piece only minutes ago. And as both teams really push for the go-ahead, this is a very dangerous position for the team. They opt to go to Olsen, who is a very good drag flicker. The only issue with him is he does have quite a long pickup, so does sometimes gain the attention of the first runner, as it did that time. So when Cal does get it away, it goes, and he is a real rocket, but does have that longer pickup with being a taller body. So just intercepted there by the first runner, and no real threat on Dilan Patel's goal. And again, it's we've talked about brave penalty corner running already, and that's brave if you're going to run down the barrel at a man like Callum Olsen as he winds up. He has a big big lad for a young guy, and he does flick the ball hard. So great defensive work there from the Indian men's side.
Yeah, that's right. It's you've got to be a brave person to run first in a penalty corner defence. Callum Olsen has been pretty rock solid at the back for New Zealand development as well. Like his presence as a defender, and he's had a pretty solid weekend, I reckon.
And that's Charles Ulrich just eyeing up his striker going forward, and that one is Josh Irwin, who links up again on the baseline with George Baker. George Baker will do enough to earn another penalty corner, and I think George Baker probably one of the best at using the baseline in the tournament. As we see the keeper life replay here, fantastic overhead ball on a bit of a roll from Charles Ulrich, not easy to do. Does find Irwin going forward, and he tries to link up with Nation, and just finds again George Baker in a really good position on the back line. For any young strikers watching along on Sky Sport Next and on the FIH app worldwide, take a look at the work of George Baker to be in a good position on the baseline, as the development team will win themselves another penalty corner. Yeah, that's he's managed to pick that one up. It's come off the glove of Dylan Patel, but into a dangerous position, so they will get a reset on the penalty corner here. You could just see on the run line there, the first runner a little bit off the line that he would have liked to be on. Again, it takes a lot of guts to run down that line, and by no means am I saying I would do it, but a tough line to run, and they will get a reset. Look for the Indian counter-attack here. Well picked up, well intercepted there by Jared Russell. Interesting there, Jude, the penalty corner not coming out straight, but the trapper still trying to get across with the stick stop to save it well outside his right foot. Tough thing to do.
Yeah, I reckon he should have just gone on his forehand and trapped it upright as normal instead of trying to make the reverse stick trap. I think just a quick adaptation, then you keep the penalty corner alive rather than a turnover.
Yeah, fortunately for the development men, didn't amount to the counter-attack that we may have been expecting. They will come forward here, but no further than the wind allows the ball to travel. As we count down in the final 5 minutes here, this period, and I believe the 5 minutes after the third quarter, are going to be incredibly influential into whichever team does put themselves in a position to come away with a win here. I know we're a long way away yet, but just as a reminder for everyone following along, the game will go to a penalty shootout if we do have a draw, and this is the gold medal match, so will be high intensity if we do make it that far. We do still have 20 minutes of hockey here, and I would say the tempo will increase. I'd say teams will continue to push and won't want to let it go as far as a penalty shootout, so plenty more action to come as we count down the final minutes of this third quarter.
Yeah, New Zealand development have really stepped up the pace in this quarter. It's been all them in this last 10 minutes or so. So I think the Indians will have to actually counter them when they come back in the next quarter. We still have around 3.5 minutes to play though, so they have to see out this quarter really well and then reset again.
Yeah, we speak of penalty shootouts, Jude, and you will have done a fair bit of work with goalkeepers around the country in their attempts, to improve at that skill. You probably didn't get the opportunity to play a penalty shootout, but how would you have liked it?
I think it would have suited my style of play because I'm a smaller keeper and more mobile and agile. So I think it might have worked in my advantage. But it was way after my time, so I didn't have to deal with it.
As we see the Indian men get a rare little attack and free hit here. Like you mentioned, the development team had really turned things up, and it was all them for a period of play here. As Charles Ulrich does make a couple of great defensive plays outside his circle. George Baker working really hard there. And cleaned up again by Ulrich, who's been massive for the development team. This is Daniel Wood at the back. He's got Adam Banks in front of him. We talked about Adam Banks' work in there just to engage the likes of Shayaswar, who is marking him currently. Trying to narrow up this Indian men's defence, and Wood opts to go over and will pick up Charles Ulrich on a half trap there from Nitesh Sukha. And who again on that baseline but George Baker. And probably 4 tic-tac-toes in a row there from Dilan Patel, who does incredibly well in front of the Indian goal. Unable to keep it any further away than an attacking penalty corner, as the last couple did get up in the air. But we see the go forward there, and it is George Baker. A nice little deflection, smother save there. Picked up by David Bates, and a little bit of a high one, but it does get far enough away. Makes us 3rd, 4th. And unfortunately nothing there Brent Duckworth can do other than award the penalty corner. So more work to do in the Indian men's goal for Dilan Patel, and another opportunity for the development men. And we are still in that crucial period right before the 3rd quarter break.
Great flick.
Yeah, fantastic flick there right above the head of Nitesh Sukha.
Dilan Patel offset to the right, to his right, and I think Charles Ulrich was really smart. He sprayed the ball to the other corner. Really good flick, quality drag flicking.
Yeah, as we can see, they're probably just not quite the adjustment from the second runner. You'd like to see them a little bit closer on body lines to close down some of that side of the goal if you are going to run an offset goalkeeper and a 3rd runner. So, again, big call to run the lines of that as a 1st or a 2nd runner, especially when you've got someone like Charles who can flick the ball phenomenally well. But it is a fantastic finish, and it is the goal that puts the New Zealand development side ahead 3-2 as we just roll into the final seconds of the 3rd quarter. We've got 17 more minutes of action after the break as the Indian men maybe just have one punch to fire back. It is ball with Brett Menezes, and it's a fantastic tackle by that goal scorer, Charles Ulrich.
Yeah, Charles been standout in this quarter. He's really stepped up big time, grabbed the game by the scruff of his neck. Basically, he's really dominating the middle of the park today.
Yeah, as mentioned, he's a fantastic talent and has really stood up for this New Zealand development side as they do roll into the 3rd quarter break. It is a 2nd goal to Charles Ulrich, which puts the New Zealand development side up 3-2 over the New Zealand Indians in the 3rd quarter break in the grand final here between the Indians and the development team. Now I'm joined in commentary by New Zealand Pacifica women's captain, superstar, fantastic goal scorer today after she dribbled past 4 or 5 or 6 players, Lulu Tuilutalava. Awesome to have you here, Lulu.
Thank you for having me here.
Now I spoke earlier in the week to your dad Will and how proud he was of your career so far in hockey and what it means for you to be a role model in Pacifica hockey. But how awesome is it to have an opportunity to play alongside your Pacifica sisters here in this tournament?
Yeah, it's actually an honour to be here, to be able to play along the sisters. You know, it's something that's been growing for quite a while now, and so being able to go and play out there with all the Pacifica sisters is something that we've been working on. Yeah, happy about it.
And it's I think it's an awesome opportunity for some of those younger Pacifica players to play alongside the likes of yourself. You know, you do have international experience with the Vantage Black Sticks, and just to see the way you lead some of those younger players out there, and the likes of Safi Cribb and those younger girls like Marika Magoon, who I thought played really well today. Awesome for them to be able to play alongside an international athlete.
Yeah, no, it was quite nice of them to all come along. Grateful for their support to come and help Pacific players as our guest players, but also Marika as well, who is also Fijian. So yeah. Yeah,
and I think Paul Magoon did an awesome job in the improvements you guys made over the tournament. And I sat here with your dad Will in the first game where you did concede a goal in about 3 minutes in the first game, and from that moment on, continued improvement, and turning 4 goals yesterday into 6 goals today. You'll be pleased with the way you guys ended the tournament.
Yeah, so the first game we were all a bit trying to get used to each other, but being able to finally jam and play the way we wanted to play was great for us.
Yeah, and it's awesome. I spoke to the Pacifica men's captain, Jan Peterson, a little earlier, and what it may mean to young Pacifica players, especially as we play out here in Papatoetoe. A lot of Pacific and Indian players around this area what an awesome opportunity it is for them to come along to the ground here at Colmar and see you guys put this showcase on, as we hope to see more Pacifica players playing in the future.
Yep. So it was great. It was good to be out here in Papatoetoe where most of the players are. So just a good opportunity for us to grow the game and showcase to other Pacific Island players out there that they can play hockey as well.
Yeah, and you've played a fair bit of hockey here at Southern Districts Club, and that goal you scored today may go up on the wall as one of the best. It was a fantastic finish, and maybe against some tiring defenders, but nonetheless a great goal that you scored just to really change that last quarter for your team. So it's been a pleasure to have you and the Pacifica women's team here, and we thank you for being the role model you are in the Pacifica community. So thank you, Lulu. We wish you all the best as you continue your career and pathway in hockey, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
As we're back into the fourth quarter here of the men's final between the New Zealand Indian men and the New Zealand Development men. See the Indians back on attack, ball through Xavier Guy, and remember they did concede just before the break. And that one will be a penalty corner there. Unfortunate for David Bates as he unable to clean up. As we see the replay, thanks to keeper life, it was a Xavier Guy free hit taking around the edge of the circle. You can just see here on the entry pass, just unable to get his feet out of the way, and will concede the penalty corner. So the Indian men have the opportunity right after the break to strike back. They've got Iswa to pull the ball out, and they've got Guy and Suka at the top brackets.
Let's see what Louis Beckett can do in goal here.
Yeah, umpire Max Beach just on the mics having a quick little check with Bryn Duckworth, and it's great to see our umpires with the technology available to do that so that they are getting the right calls. Just judged to have come a little dangerously through the exit there for the Indian men. Not the flick Nitesh Suka would have wanted, but they will get a second opportunity at it. Good solid glove save there by Louis Beckett. And a extremely poor contest there by the New Zealand development player. Probably just looked a little bit desperate, and probably far enough away from the goal that he didn't need to be as desperate as that tackle showed. So we see the keeper life replay on the flick. Not really asking a huge question of Beckett. It is a fairly standard glove save on his left side.
It was a solid running line by Callum Olsen there. Didn't really allow Nitish too much with that flick.
Yeah, we talk about the line there of Callum Olsen. Again, he's a big body and he gets out in the way, and he's run down a few corners at this tournament just in his ability to get out and contest. It did roll onto his foot though, so they will get another go at it, but it's a very brave and good line he's running.
That's a big save by Louis Beckett. Absolutely fantastic. I think he might have got the last touch with a stick as well. Brilliant save.
Yeah, that's outstanding goalkeeper thing there by Louis Beckett, who just gets the outstretched stick to it. But unfortunately, the development men can't clear any further than another penalty corner, and Louis Beckett will likely be called on again. Now, as we see the keeper life replay on that last corner, hopefully it is long enough to see that stick save from Beckett, but it does go to the second bracket of Guy, and it is well saved initially. Good foot save, not cleared any further. And that's excellent work there by Beckett to get back up off the ground and contest that shot. Well, that after the first deflection, all kind of went in slow motion, and nobody could do much about the ball as it just rolled past the right post of Louis Beckett there. Yeah, just Natish not picking up all of the ball as he would have liked to, but did take a deflection there, I believe, from the first runner for the New Zealand development guys, as Xavier Guy does have ball around the edge of the circle, and this is Iswa.
So a good solid clearance at the back by Daniel Woud.
Yeah, that'll bring the New Zealand development team some confidence to be able to turn away 5 penalty corners like that, and it could turn defence into attack here as they are up the other end of the field, though the Indian men do have possession of the ball through Alex Dio.
Yeah, New Zealand development did really well to absorb that pressure. Louis Beckett making a couple of big saves there to keep them in this contest.
And that's Max Wyndham-Smith just getting back in and talk about defensive pressure as a striker, and he's doing exceptionally well. He maybe rolled it into the midfield there as George Baker does sub himself on. Yeah, to soak up pressure like that, the coach will be stoked, but Louis Beckett will be very happy with his work in goal there.
Yeah, absolutely. Louis Beckett's probably one of the most dynamic goalkeepers in the country. Very powerful, very explosive, and yeah, he's got a big future ahead of him.
Yeah, we can see why with a couple of great saves there in the goal for the New Zealand development side, potentially, well, definitely saving them from the equalizer that the Indian men have been searching for. As Tim Shee just has the ball at the back, he finds Callum Olsen, who does have Eddie Watt just overlapped in front of him. Little touch there from Jaden Dyer does enough to slow down play for now.
It'll be interesting to see if New Zealand Indians, both coaches, Yogesh and Caden Hari, make a call to pull the keeper off at some stage.
It's a good little enterprising play there, 3D, by Isaac Holbrook, who just unable to get the ball up and over Dylan Patel before it ran over the baseline. And this is Xavier Guy, who has turned the ball over. And the dreaded coach-killing double turnover in the midfield there. We'll see the Indian men keep possession. It will be Guy on the ball, and as we near in under 10 minutes to go in this fourth quarter of the men's final of the New Zealand Heritage Hockey Tournament between the New Zealand Indian men and the New Zealand Development men.
Stroke.
And who else other than Hitesh Dyer, the experience of the man going forward. A phenomenal receive toward goal and then picked up as we see the Keeper Life replay here. Free hit given by Max Beach, and this little ball into Hitesh here. Yep, there's nothing else you can award there. Max Beach has given the stroke and through some poor defensive efforts. Now, you're going to have to do something because Hitesh is very lethal from there. But the Indian men's side do find themselves an opportunity to go equalise here, and it is Xavier Guy stepping up. A smile and a couple of words to Louis Beckett as they do face off against each other. Yeah, Louis Beckett with his best attempt there, but it is a good low and hard finish there by Xavier Guy, and it's enough to put them back in this arm wrestle at 3-3. Fantastic receiving work there by Hitesh Dyer to set up that stroke opportunity, and well finished by Xavier Guy. Now, Jude, we got 7 and a little bit minutes there to go of what is going to be furious hockey as both teams really push. This is going to open right up, and I do think we will have opportunities at both ends. Now, we may see a team pull a goalkeeper if they do want to get out of it before the shootout, or we will just see some really enterprising play from both teams as they attempt to go forward.
Yeah, there's still a lot of time left in this game, Brad, so composure, I reckon, is the name of the game. And as you see, a shot at goal on the other end there.
Yeah, fantastic ball forward by Callum Olsen, just picks out his striker there, but it is well covered up by Dylan Patel, and the Indian men come back the other way. That's fantastic work out there by Ishan Patel, who linked up with Hitesh Dyer. Unfortunately, they will concede possession. Ishan just doing well enough to hold up the ball there, but an attempt to pass to turn over. This is Ulrich on the ball. And back to Callum Olsen. You can see the Indian men just happy to fall back into that half-court press that did serve them fairly well yesterday as they attempt to take away the option through the midfield for the development men. But they have found their way into the circle. But to no goal shot or no goal opportunity. And again, it was George Baker down there, interestingly enough, on the baseline, working them an opportunity to get it on the left side. And it will be Nitesh Sukha here with ball at the back for the Indian men's side. He's got strikers willing and running up the front, but looking for the space to throw the ball into.
It's been a great final so far, Brad. 6 goals in a final. That's what this fantastic crowd out here at Papatoy have come out to see. So both these teams have really entertained us today.
Yeah, and I don't think we would have expected anything else from the way both these teams play. As young Brett there is trying to get himself into a fight. You may have to go and back him up there, Jude. I'll hold the mics, but just a wee mistake. I don't think he knew he was there. As Xavier Guy does come forward with the ball.
Oh, good interception.
Well picked up by Charles Ulrich there. Tough to pick up. Gets his left foot out of the way and makes a great interception there. And this game's going to go right down to it here. We're going to have opportunities at both ends to finish this game, as both teams will want to finish this before it gets to a penalty shootout.
Big games from Xavier Guy for Indians and Charles Ulrich for the New Zealand development, as we had expected at the start. Brad, really good to see them both really dictate and dominate.
Yeah, you always expect your big players to step up in the big moments, and they both have answered that call equally for their sides. Not without supporting cast, of course, but those two have been instrumental in seeing their teams at the position they're at right now, just 4.5 minutes away from potentially winning the very first New Zealand Heritage Hockey Tournament. And this is Isaac Holbrook. Brett Menez is just pulling the sheet away in front of David Bates. It's always a tough trap to make there when you think the person in front of you is likely going to make a touch on it. So Brett just coolly allows that one to go over the sideline, and they will keep possession as Alex Dio looks for the overhead coming forward, and Brett Menezes takes it down well without it hitting his body. Yeah, a lot of would-be umpires down there from both teams. I think thinking that they may have had the whistle in their hands, but it is Max Beach who makes the call out, and the development team come forward through Adam Banks. He is under the attention there as Xavier Guy, and no call coming his way. It's a great little ball forward there for Shea Iswa, and he will continue forward and just allow his players to get in front of him. Not a lot of option here for the Indian side, who don't have a lot going forward. It's
there are a few tired legs out there, and you can see the space is opening up a bit. Just need to stay connected now and stay composed, because this is the business end of the game now.
Yeah, this is where you make your money out here. This less than 3 minutes to go. We've got a tied ball game. And the New Zealand Indian side looking to come forward. But well picked up there by the New Zealand development team. And they will go forward through Moss Jackson, who we haven't heard a lot of in this second half. But he does give them a little go forward. And Alex Dio gets there before George Baker. But George makes a fantastic tackle and continues towards the circle. This is George Baker. Unfortunately, Jude, another one of those coach killers. You can't miss under the goal, and George will be gutted there that he couldn't get that one on target.
Yeah, good advantage played by Brent Duckworth to allow George that shot at goal.
Yeah, the New Zealand development team bring the ball down, and Unfortunately, just is lost through Tim Sheed. It will be Hamish Suka doing the work there to give Xavier Guy the free hit, and he rolls the ball out to Keenan Bicker, unable to bring it in front of the growing crowd here at Colmar. And it will be Daniel Wood to bring the ball back. He's got Callum Olsen in the middle of the field. A minute and a half left here, both teams not wanting to over exert or under. They want to keep to their structures. A minute and a half is still enough time to score a goal. The Indian men will want to soak up pressure and then look for their strong counter-attack, and the development men will want to keep transferring the ball and playing with the ball speed that has deserved them this spot in the game.
You want to be really disciplined now. Last minute of the game.
Oh, and that's unfortunately not disciplined there by Charles Ulrich, which will award the Indian men maybe one last opportunity to come forward here. It will be Guy on the ball. He's got Suka. No, it will roll Suka the ball. That is Dio. And he will find Suka. Got an opportunity around the edge of the circle here, the Indian men. If they can stay composed. But it is a good poke tackle away by Callum Olsen, who just says, we'll get out of here. And probably walk our way towards a penalty shootout. Now, there is a little bit left on the clock here at Colmar, but certainly not a lot. I think both teams may be resigned to the fact we will have a penalty shootout here to decide the winner of the very first New Zealand Heritage Hockey Tournament. Yeah, it is lucky there. I think the development team may have thought it was all stick there, but Nitish Suka happy just to roll the ball out. It is well initially stopped by Olsen, but not far enough. It's a fantastic second effort there by Louis Beckett to just get close enough to Iswar to affect the shot enough that it goes up over the cage, and maybe a little more time on the clock than we originally realised. We can't quite see the scoreboard from here. And a great little opportunity for the Indian men, and that will spell the end of regulation time between the New Zealand Indian men and the New Zealand development men. This is the grand final of our Heritage Hockey Tournament. Now, as I mentioned, we will be going to a penalty shootout to decide the winner of this match, and it's been a match with 6 goals in it, plenty of action, plenty of excitement right to the last minute there, as we did see a final opportunity to Shea Iswar. But we will go to a penalty shootout, and Jude, I'm glad that you are here. You will be able to break down some of the goalkeeping techniques as we go through this penalty shootout. Now, you've coached at a very high level some international goalkeepers. What is the message for the penalty shootouts?
The key message is to stay in the contest. A lot of keepers just show their hand too early and allow the striker to dictate. The message that I sort of tell most of our keepers is to just stay in the contest, stay mobile. 8 seconds is a very short time, so the pressure is on the striker. Keep the ball in front of you if you can, and sometimes try to be the aggressor. Don't be passive all the time. So just mix it up a bit, and the most important thing is stay in the contest.
Yeah, I think we, especially in young keepers or keepers that haven't done a lot of this penalty shootout work before, you often see them dive at the first opportunity and thinking that they might make that first save and it'll be over, only to their disappointment where they do get rolled on and the goal is then open. So they've got to remember they do have control. The time is against the attacker, and as long as they can stay composed, stay on their feet, be between the ball and the goal for as long as possible, that pressure does mount on the attacker. And what we have seen on the first day of tournament, 3 of the 4 games went to penalty shootouts, and what I was really impressed with, especially in the women's game, is their ability to use their stick as a tackle weapon before they go down to the ground. And both games, both goalkeepers really used that ability to stay on their feet and use the stick before they had to commit to a dive.
Yeah, absolutely. Stick pressure is huge in one-on-one contest in a shootout, and the keepers who are really good with their stick can have a huge influence in affecting these saves. It's interesting to see New Zealand development have got Taylor Craigie in goal for the shootout. Taylor played the first half of this game. Louis Beckett played the second half, and it looks like Dylan Patel is in goal for the Indians for the shootout as well. Dylan has played the whole game for the Indians.
Now, looks like we've got lining up for the New Zealand development men to take their penalty shootouts. We can see Callum Olsen, we can see Isaac Holbrook, it looks like Max Wyndham-Smith, Charles Ulrich, and Moss Jackson. So that will be the 5 to attack for the New Zealand development. New Zealand Indians still to select their 5. Now the development team, this will be good practice for them, as these young guys that potentially go away and represent New Zealand at age group level will have some high pressure situations like this where they will need to perform at penalty shootout time, and regretfully probably somewhere we've struggled internationally in the Black Six program. So great for these guys to be able to get this opportunity in a final to run through penalty shootouts. Yeah,
you couldn't have scripted this final any better. So yeah, three goals apiece for both teams, and then now a penalty shootout. So yeah, good opportunity to practice under pressure. Finals hockey is a different cup of tea altogether, and this is the opportunity for these athletes now to show their skills, basically.
Yeah, and as we just take a quick look over at the 5 the Indian team have selected, I can see Brett Menezes, Xavier Guy, Shea Iswa, Nitesh Sukha, and Kieran Chiba stepping up there for the Indian side. As mentioned, it will be Dylan Patel in goal for the Indian men, and it will be Holbrook to take first for the New Zealand development side. Now, for those of you watching at home, they have 8 seconds for the attacker to score. Yeah, fantastic bit of skill there by Isaac Holbrook. You think, Jude, maybe Dylan Patel just giving him a little bit too much room?
I reckon he was very passive there. It's got to put him under pressure, especially when he's got back to play.
It's a good finish there from Shea as well. What you will notice about Iswa's finish there is he just gets it above that easy foot save and not quite in that hand save region. So it's through that little corridor there that goalkeepers hate, in that knee kind of area. Fantastic couple of saves there by Dylan Patel in goal for the Indian men's side. Umpire Max Beach just thinking about the potential for a retake as the ball did get stuck under Dylan Patel, but Max Wyndham-Smith may be too far away, and we will have Brett Menezes up for the Indian team. Good solid save there by Taylor Craig, and I think that's the distance closing we talked about when players turn on the back like that.
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as as Brett sort of got his back to play, Taylor closed down the space and got into a good block behind him, so any roll or spin there is neutralized straight away. So good goalkeeping by Taylor.
And it's an option we see quite a bit in these penalty shootouts, is that option to roll out and try and spin. Unfortunately, I think we see for Callum Olsen there, just unable to execute the drag he was looking for, and the ball did fumble around the end of his stick there, and unable to really move or ask questions of Dylan Patel, who did well to stay in the contest.
Yes, the key with the strikers not moving the keepers enough at the moment. And we're still having to see a little bit of stick pressure because we haven't seen any stick pressure yet from the keepers.
Yes, will be Charles Ulrich. The Indians with the advantage here, 2-1.
That's a really big save by Dylan Patel, getting down to his glove side really quickly. Charles Ulrich tried to just slide it past his right glove, but Dylan was equal to the task. Good save.
Yeah, it's a replica of the save Craigie made on Brett Menezes there, just in a good low blocking position, aware of the spin and close enough to be able to contest it, and Xavier Guy unable to score there.
Yeah, the important thing, Taylor's closed down space really well both times, so yeah, high quality goalkeeping by both keepers.
Good finish there by Moss Jackson. They needed that one. A miss there would have spelled the end of the game. And Nitesh Sukha, who we have spoken about at length this tournament, has the opportunity to win the final for the Indian men's side. And that will be the final nail in the coffin from a guy who has played fantastically well all tournament. That will be the win to the New Zealand Indian men's side through the penalty shootout finish by Nitesh Sukha. A fantastic game of hockey there, and no credit to be taken away from either of these teams who played a fantastic game of hockey and showcased our sport on the biggest stage here at the New Zealand Heritage Hockey Tournament. And both teams will be extremely proud of the way they played. And I've been joined by Jude Menezes. How did you enjoy that one?
Oh, it's a great final. Really good spectacle. What do you want in a final? 6 goals in the match, and then ending it with a shootout. So yeah, great testament to our sport, and a really good entertainment for all the crowd that has come out here to watch in big numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. And just a final congratulations there to the New Zealand Indian men, who will take away the first Heritage Hockey Tournament here in Papatoetoe, Auckland, through a penalty shootout win over the New Zealand Development men. Coming right up, we will have the New Zealand Development women taking on the New Zealand Māori women in the women's final here in just a few moments. So we will see you soon. Thank you, Jude, for joining me, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Brad.